Hi, my name is Jordan Milner, and this is my video for Chapter 3. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. I know that everybody's tired, and so I'd just like to talk about a couple different things, and then I'll let y'all get out of here. I'd like to talk about the role of the government in education and how that affects us. And so I'm going to talk about kind of the origins of government and education and bring us up to today, and then talk a little bit about our evaluation system and how that works. So originally the government did not have a huge role in education. So if we look back to when Horace Mann first came about, the government did not play an essential role in education. Education consisted mainly of private schools that generally educated white male children would attend, and they were really the only kids that had that advantage. During Mann's time, our government began to evolve and began to make decisions about what exactly the government should be involved in. During this time, Massachusetts developed the first school board, in which Mann became the first Secretary of Education. States began to become more involved in education. During this time, Mann, along with the school board, developed school reports containing information about the condition of education in the state, which now we know we have school reports in all of the states. So we've kind of evolved from that. This was their first step in communicating the state of education at the time and making the public aware of the poor condition of education. He then began to hold county educational conventions in which teaching methods, location of schools, finances, and other topics regarding education were discussed, much like we would hold town meetings today and school board meetings to discuss the state of education in our schools today. So again, we've kind of evolved for that. So he really did start that role of government for us. Mann felt that there should be an emphasis placed on teaching moral values in schools. He created the Common Elements, which were a set of core values that he felt all men and religions would agree upon. The first schools were largely based upon religious teachings, and so many felt that he was attempting to take the religion out of schools. So this kind of created an uprising and really created a breakaway of private Catholic schools. And so now we know we have parochial schools today. And if you look towards today, moving forward in education today, we've had a number of Supreme Court rulings dealing with religious issues, and so we know today that now religion has kind of been completely taken out of schools. Prior to Mann becoming involved in education, teaching was not thought of as an important occupation, and teachers were not really held accountable for the learning of their students. There was not a common curriculum from school to school. He suggested that teachers be evaluated based upon their moral character. Often women could not even be married and continue to teach. Today, teachers are still held to high moral standards. However, teachers are largely evaluated upon the success and progress of their students through standardized testing and observations from their superiors. Mann, along with the school board, started to create an aligned curriculum to be taught in all schools, which included math, reading, and writing. Today, we have created a system of standards in which all students have access to equal learning opportunities statewide and similarly nationwide. And so we know that statewide we have a large control over education today, and that kind of began with Mann, which brings me to kind of the main topic that I wanted to discuss was expectations for teachers and how teachers are being held accountable today, because that affects all of us. And so first of all, I'd just like to say that we have an excellent staff that recognizes the importance of student growth as well as the importance of continued professional growth to better ourselves. The expectations for teacher achievement have become more rigorous since Mann's time. While teachers are still expected to uphold high moral standards, there are other requirements that our staff continues to work towards in meeting. So, we know that out in public we still have to have that have high moral standards for ourselves. And in the classroom, we have to teach that to our kids. I mean, we have rules and expectations for our kids, and so we're still in charge of that. But there's, since Mann's time, become more rigor for us, and we're all aware of that. In our district, similarly to the rest of the country, our teacher evaluation system is largely based upon observed teacher performance in the classroom through walkthroughs, informal and formal observations, as well as student achievement on standardized assessments. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the pros and cons of teacher accountability and how that's going to affect all of us and what we're doing. And so Allie Bidwell, in her article, Coalition Wants New School Accountability, stated that educational leaders and organizations are now pushing for systems of accountability that show student growth based on whether or not students can problem solve, work collaboratively, and apply academic concepts in different situations. When we look at Grand Island Public Schools college and career readiness standards, we are also pushing students towards helping them to become better problem solvers and to work collaboratively. So I think that's something that we're doing that's really progressive and great for our kids, and it also prepares them really for the real world. But that is not directly tied to standardized testing. Bidwell states these organizations would like to create standardized tests that would measure problem solving and different academic concepts that would measure problem solving and different academic concepts in different academic settings. They feel that this would be a better measure of student progress and therefore a better way to measure teacher accountability. Bidwell also states that if teachers are going to be evaluated based on test scores, that school districts must do everything they can to help teachers prepare their students. She states that many teachers and organizations feel they are not being well prepared to help their students meet proficiency on standardized tests. And so I think Bidwell makes a really good point that yes, standardized tests are important because it's a good way for us to measure student progress. However, currently, the standardized tests that we have aren't necessarily measuring everything that we're looking for in our students. We really want them to become better problem solvers and be able to do that in different situations, not just in an academic setting. So I think it's really great that she points that out. Another thing that she points out that I think is really great is that we need to make sure that we are preparing our teachers, you guys, to really go out and help students to go and maintain that proficiency on standardized testing, because really standardized testing should measure the things that we're looking for. And so if we're teaching those things, then it shouldn't be a difficult thing for us to meet proficiency. However, sometimes we're not aligning really what we're teaching with what we want our kids really to be able to do. And so I think that's a good point that she brings up. Robert Slavin's article, Test-Based Accountability, Inspectors and Evidence, he states that while teacher accountability is necessary to the success of our students and teachers, that programs like NCLB have been hindering our nation. He feels that we rushed into action with programs like NCLB and raced to the top without really testing out our hypothesis. He feels that we have done a disservice to our students and teachers because of this. I agree with both Bidwell's feelings of needing accountability, but in a way that truly supports our teachers and students, and with Slavin's statements about rushing into different programs. Teacher accountability is necessary for us to truly help our students make progress and to help us learn and grow as educators. I would like to see our staff continue to make individual gains in classroom instructional methods through the use of our current evaluation systems. I would also like us to be mindful of standardized testing and to work together to help support each other in making gains in our standardized testing scores. Obviously, right now we can't go out and change how standardized testing works in Nebraska, but we can be doing things within our building to help support each other, to help our students to meet that proficiency. And so we can look at, what instructional methods are we using, what's working, what's not, and really work together as a building to help our students meet that proficiency and to be able to have those skills. I think that we are truly all working together towards one goal, which we know is every student every day is success. And so I just really appreciate the work that everyone is doing, and to continue to do that and to support each other. Thank you all for your time today.